More than 1/5 of the Earth's surface is covered with ice. But the icy worlds of the Arctic and Antarctica are the same for us as the surface of another planet. They are still very little studied. There are extreme living conditions here. In winter, the sun does not rise for 6 months, and the temperature can drop to -70 degrees Celsius. But when the spring comes, the landscape is completely transformed. And the poles become filled with life. New opportunities open up for animals. But living in a world of endless change is not easy at all. To succeed in this, the inhabitants of the poles have to adapt. And to increase their chances of survival, they use different tactics. Some use brute force. And some use intelligence. We will go on a trip to the Arctic and Antarctic to learn more about the world of ice and cold. A winter in the Arctic. The North Pole is covered with ice and snow. There's no any life here for now. But soon the sun's rising above the Arctic and the spring begins. Sunlight fills the area. The air temperature rises, and the ice patchwork begins to melt. In winter, the Arctic Ocean is almost completely covered with a thick layer of ice, but with the onset of spring, it is released. Huge pieces of ice are drifting across the sea. Cracks in the ice form a kind of road for some of the most mysterious inhabitants of the Arctic. Narwhals. They're known as sea unicorns due to their long tusk. It's actually a tooth protruding from the upper lip. The reasons why they need it are still unknown. Some scientists believe that it is necessary for narwhals to fight among themselves. Others are sure that narwhals break through ice floes with a long tooth. Narwhals breathe air and use cracks in ice as air pockets. If the ice closes, narwhals will not be able to breathe and will die. And these are belugas, also called the white whales. They live in groups of 20 to 30 individuals. Belugas live in the Arctic Ocean, but they can swim in less cold waters. They can be found off the coasts of Canada, Greenland, Norway and Russia. And under the ice, a female ringed seal has found a refuge. And she's not alone. She has a baby. It is still small, but already knows how to swim and has a natural color for its species. It will stay close to its mother until it learns how to get food itself. They can feel safe under the ice. But for some animals, spring is the most difficult time of the year. Polar bears hunt seals by tracking them under the ice. But when spring comes, the ice sheet splits and hunting becomes more difficult, even for the biggest terrestrial predator. The spring is a hard time for the apex predators of the Arctic. Due to climate change, polar bears are on the verge of extinction. They use their white fur to disguise themselves against the background of snow, but every year the ice layer decreases noticeably, and it is no longer too easy for them to hide. In winter, they are top predators, but in spring they are completely defenseless against nature. Some have to swim across the ocean to find food. They can swim very well. They row with their front paws and use their rear paws as a rudder. No wonder their Latin name means sea bear. Others are less lucky and end up on drifting ice floes. Fortunately for them, the summer will not last long. The ocean will be covered with ice again, and hunting will become easier. After leaving the Arctic, the spring comes to Antarctica. Unlike the Arctic, which is actually an ocean, Antarctica is a continent, surrounded by the waters of the Southern Ocean. Snow and ice melt, and Antarctica comes to life. Thousands of different seabirds come here to nest. There are especially a lot of penguins here. There are more penguins living on the Antarctic Peninsula than in any other corner of the continent. Now the mating season has come for birds, and males often fight for females. Sometimes such fights can be very intense. Penguins nesting near the sea, where their food lives, fish and krill. Penguin pairs are very attached to each other and do not part throughout their lives. They build nests of rocks, grass and moss. Sometimes other penguins steal materials from their neighbors. Each female lays 2 eggs. Chicks are very dependent on their parents. The female guards the nest and the male goes to get food. Thousands of males return with full stomachs of fish. But the sea, it's a dangerous place. The leopard seal. This Antarctic predator can reach up to 4 meters long and weigh up to 400 kilograms. They got their name for their spotted color. When they are lying on an ice floe, they look awkward and lazy. But in fact, they are very fast and maneuverable predators under the water. The penguins dive to the water. The predator dives too. Using its long snake-like body and flippers, it easily reaches speeds of up to 40 kilometers per hour. Penguins return to land. The seal has found its prey. The penguin is trying to escape. It can't leave now. Next time, the penguins will have to be more careful before diving. High fitness allows the leopard seal to be one of the most dangerous predators of the Antarctica. Huge icebergs are drifting across the Southern Ocean. These are blocks of ice breaking off from the continent and sliding into the sea. Icebergs can be of different sizes. They can be small, no larger than a rock, or huge, the size of a small country. But only a small part of the iceberg is visible above the surface. To look at them underwater, we will dive. Magnificent views open up to us underwater. The waters of Antarctica are the coldest on Earth. Their temperature is -2 degrees Celsius. Few would dare to swim in this freezer. Underwater, the iceberg is strongly compressed under the influence of icy water. It is hard as a stone. This ice is probably several thousand years old. But now the last stage of its life begins. It drifts towards warm waters, where it will be gradually melt and collapse. It seems that life simply cannot exist in such conditions, but some organisms have been able to adapt and prove the right to life. These waters are practically unexplored, and a huge number of species unknown to science live here. On the seabed, where there is no ice, huge thickets of seaweed grow, some of which can reach 15 meters in length. Various invertebrates live between seaweed. For example, the starfishes. Some of them reach 60 centimeters in diameter. Antarctic anemones add bright colors to the underwater world. They patiently wait for prey to float by to grab it with their venomous tentacles. The Antarctic Ocean is incredible. At night, the sky over Antarctica is also filled with bright colors. Aurora australis, or the southern lights, illuminate the sky. When exposed to the Earth's magnetosphere, rapidly moving charged particles carry the solar wind. At an altitude of 100 to 300 kilometers above the Earth's surface, they collide with the upper layers of the atmosphere and transfer energy to gas molecules. Their atoms wake up and emit light energy. As a result, we see an amazing natural phenomenon, visible only at night. Antarctica looks absolutely calm during the day. In the middle of spring, the entire ocean is covered with drifting ice floes. Ice floes come in different shapes. Sometimes they are small flat plates, and sometimes large pieces of ice, like small icebergs. Very often, they create problems or relief for animals. Some ice floes are occupied by seals basking in the sun. Many of them are tired after a night of hunting and are now resting. A group of killer whales patrols the icy ocean in search of prey. The group consists mainly of females and their babies. There is also a large male with a high dorsal fin. The predators jump up and inspect the ice floes. The seal is spotted. But how will they get to the seal if it is on such a huge ice floe? They have a plan. And they start hunting. They sail 30 meters away. Accelerate. And waving their tails, create a wave that breaks the ice. But the seal is still on the raft. It is still protected from all sides. But the leader female has a plan. Killer whales push an ice floe with the seal into an open space. They sail away again and create a more powerful wave. The seal ended up in the water, but it won't give up without a fight. Predators should not approach its teeth and claws. To avoid injury, they release bubbles to disorient prey. The game is over. The victim dies in 90% of cases. But each killer whale needs to eat one seal a day, so the group will have a long hunt. In summer, the waters of Antarctica are filled with fish and crustaceans, which attracts giants from the open ocean. Humpback whales arrived here from tropical seas. They spend the winter in warm tropical waters, and in summer migrate to the cold waters of the Arctic and Antarctica, where there is a lot of food. Here whales hunt krill, small crustaceans no bigger than a little finger. Like killer whales, humpbacks are able to develop strategies for catching prey. Let's see how they hunt krill. First, they surround the school. Then they dive deeper. Whales disorient krill with sound. Then they turn around and release jets of bubbles. They create a bubble net that surrounds the school. The prey is trapped. Finally, the whales open their mouths and swallow as much food as possible. There are only 2 places on Earth where humpback whales hunt in this way. But the time of abundance in Antarctica will not last long. Winter is approaching and the continent will be plunged into darkness for 6 months. Despite the cold, there is a change of seasons at the poles. In the summer months, they're exposed to direct sunlight, and in the winter months, the tilt of the Earth's axis deprives them of the sun. In summer, the temperature in the Antarctica is minus 20 degrees Celsius, and in winter it drops to minus 70. Nowhere in the world is the landscape changing as fast as in the Arctic and Antarctica. But due to climate change, the world of snow and ice is noticeably changing every year. The ice sheet is getting smaller, and the temperature is rising. But there was also a man involved. Environmental pollution, fishing, hunting of local animals are some of these problems. In this film, we tried to show you the natural wonders of the Arctic and Antarctica that we have left. If we want to see all this beauty further, we need to protect the poles. Our duty is to preserve the nature of our planet by all means, to prevent rapid climate change, and preserve the unique wonders of the frozen worlds.